Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Let's Play Stonehearth Part 2. As always, my name is eckohour, and I will be the disembodied voice hosting this Let's Play. So, finally we are able to jump into this game in earnest. I won't be explaining nearly as much in this, just playing the game, letting you guys watch as the town slowly develops. I've been giving a little bit of thought as to how I want to set up the town. I noticed that the water over here kind of looks good for a dock. And what I think would be really cool would be to set up this area right here as a sort of marketplace right next to the docks. Let's see what the caravan has to offer us. So they're willing to give us 2 comfy beds in exchange for 3 mean beds. I will go ahead and take that offer. And we're just going to have to go ahead and make 3 more mean beds because we used out of the pool of mean beds that were going to be placed in the buildings. Please change the hierarchy there. Okay, so the order with which you have things built over here is the order in which, or you have the things placed over here, is the order in which the things will be built. So if I were to queue up a couple more wooden crates, maybe a couple lanterns, and let's say another shield and another wooden sword, and you know, we'll just go ahead and make a couple of these tools for good measure. The height, the higher that these items are, in the chain is where they will be built. So because we have mean beds at the highest on the chain, that means those are the things that will first will be built, then he'll finish the fences, then he'll finish the crates, and so on and so forth. So and you can move them around by clicking and dragging them, but for right now we don't need to really worry about the order too much. We just want those mean beds done before people need to start sleeping. Speaking of sleeping, looks like they still need to place the beds inside the house over here. And looks like we got a couple people who are heading out to harvest some berries, which is good. And I think we're going to want to harvest this stone block just to get a little bit more stone. Other than that, I think we're off to a good start. We've got plenty of logs, got plenty of stone, and we've got a decent number of everything else. So I think what we're going to do is we are going to go ahead and design for ourselves a main road. So we're going to go to the design button. We're going to click on, so basically the building tool lets you pick between a variety of different aspects of the house. So you can pick freestanding slabs, which just lets you place 1 block at a time. You have walls that you can place. You have a floor foundation that you can place, and then you can build the walls based on the floor foundation. What we do right now is just the roads, and what we're going to do, I think we're going to make the roads 7 blocks wide. 7 blocks wide, and for now we'll have it be about 40 long. We'll finish that. We'll take, so this is, again, it shows you how many logs you have and how many logs it'll take to build it. We'll go ahead and start building it, and they'll extend out the road a little bit. And we can start building some houses along this road. I actually think what we're going to do is we're going to keep adding to the road. Till we get to the edge of this area over here. And I think what we'll do is we'll extend this road down into the to the main area over here, where we're going to be building our marketplace. And what we'll do is we'll put some houses and stuff along this road. We might even put some shops and that kind of stuff along the. But this might even be the main road. I haven't decided yet. Oh no, it's not quite thick enough for a main road. It's a pretty narrow road, but we'll see. And then I think what we'll also do, since we're finished editing, we'll go ahead and build that. Because I think we will add another cottage. Do the cottage for 2. And we will go ahead and place it right next to the road over here. Like that. And just to add to it, we will go ahead and add a little bit of a road right here. And just like that. And do we want to tamper with the roof at all? That's a good question. I think we want a blue roof for this. So we'll go ahead and finish editing there. So it'll take a little bit of stone to build the roof and 9 wood to build the rest of the stuff. So we'll go ahead and build that. And so now we've got a lot of tasks for our townsfolk to do. We should probably make sure that we have some food to eat. I don't think we have enough. Nope, we needed 50. We've got 41, but our morale and net worth is doing great. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and check our available townsfolk. And I think what we'll do is we'll take Noel Rain here, change his job to a farmer. And we'll go ahead back to the stockpile here, where he should grab the farmer's hoe. And what we have to do now is I think we have to try and decide a place that we want to set for our farm. We don't want to do it over here. It's a little too close to where I'm envisioning the rest of the city kind of being. So what we might do, might place it over here. Yeah, why don't we do that? So go ahead and go to our farm designate zones area. We will designate some zones, and I think what we'll do is we will designate a area right there, and I think we will have it be carrots. Then we'll have this one be turnips. I think that's plenty of work for our farmer to work on there. So if I go ahead and click on this, so there's a variety of crops that you have for farming. There are 5 staple crops, and then there's some other accessory crops. 5 staple crops are turnips, carrots, corn, wheat, and pumpkins. Turnips and carrots, and I think pumpkins as well, all grow relatively quickly, and are all pretty, as far as nutrition goes, people will get tired of them quickly, but they are again, they're fast, so if you need food quickly, the turnips, the carrots, and the pumpkins are the way to go. Corn is a bit slower growing, but people like it a bit more, and they won't get as tired of it quickly. And wheat, I think, is the slowest growing of the group. And the interesting thing about wheat, as opposed to the other 4, is wheat cannot be eaten as it is. So you can't just harvest wheat and eat it. You actually need a cook who will convert it into some tasty bread, and people really like bread. There are some other crops that you can grow here. Silkweed, which is used for the weaver. They can use the silkweed to grow, or to turn into silk bundles, which they can in turn use to make clothing and that kind of stuff. Bright bell flowers, which are useful herbs for the herbalist to heal people with. Same thing with the frostnap flower. And also you can actually plant tree saplings, which your hearthlings can use to replant forests, which is useful especially after you've cleared out some of the terrain. But for now, we don't need to worry about any of the other crops except for some of the fast-growing ones, because I think by tomorrow we're going to want to have ourselves enough food to grow a new city. We can actually check our edibles right now. We have exactly 50, and after our townsfolk eat today, we'll have less. A royal herald approaches. So I'm going to go ahead and pause this. This is something that they added in Alpha 17. It's pretty cool stuff. I'll go ahead and click on it. So we have the Honorable Edwin Redelm, and they don't have a portrait for them yet. Ho there, is this the new settlement of New Cidingtton? Yes, that is us. Excellent. Messiah Burley Hands said you'd be out here, but it's always a bit touch and go in the early days. Shall we get started? Started with what? By order of Princess Dania, First Lady of the Ascendancy, so that's basically the ruler of our kingdom, and in whose domains you now settle, and with the blessings of the Church of Plenty, and in whose wisdom we all prosper. Proclamation. All settlements that attain local renown will be hereby recognized as official Ascendancy townships, with the rights, privileges, and rewards thereof. Ooh, I like rewards. Indeed, the knowledge of the kingdom cannot be randomly dispersed into the wilderness to fall prey to goblins or wolves. However, by the princess's order, eligible towns shall win access to architectural learning and wealthier caravans for trade. So basically what that means is we'll get access to new building templates, and hopefully we'll get some more cooler stuff to trade with people. You may gain sufficient renown to advance to a township in any of three ways: military glory, favor with the church, or approval of the craftsmasters. Which sounds the most interesting to you? I haven't really thought about it. Let's go with craftsmasters. The royal craftsmasters honor those with an eye for excellence. Have your mason create a statue to these exacting specifications, the aid of their friends, and you shall impress them. Masons ho. Excellent. In addition to an appropriate monument, your town will also need to have accumulated a certain level of worth. I shall leave the requirements with you, should you wish to consult with them again, or should a different path come to appeal more than your initial chosen road. Thank you, milady. Cid's bounty be upon you, New Cidingtton, and I shall leave you a bird, so you may summon me to evaluate your progress. Alright, farewell. So we've got some recipes for our mason. And we also got a quest for a township. We can make any of these 6 monuments. We can try and do Cid's Valor, which I believe is the military route. We need a town. It needs the least town worth, but probably a good bit of military prowess. There is also the Church of Plenty, which requires the most net worth, and a couple other things in order to get this monument. And finally, the Crafter's Approval, which requires the average number of net worth, and some things to meet those requirements. So we'll look more into that as we get a more advanced town. But for now, we'll just continue going about our way. You know, we're ways off from being a Ascendancy township. So our people are actually eating their food. And after they're finished eating, they'll go back to their tasks. And they're kind of scattered to the 4 winds here. They're gathering some berries and stuff to go eat. Speaking of gathering berries, are these bushes ready to be picked yet again? Doesn't look like it. Go ahead and collect these plants here. We'll check our carpenter. So our carpenter's still working on some various items for the town. I think what we'll also do is we will also go ahead and let's see. I think we'll also go ahead and put down some crates. So let's place a crate right here. I hear some fighting going on. So we have some actual baddies over here. They look like they're attacking some innocent woodland animals. So the question is, will that lead them into our town? So we've got some entlings here that are chasing some of the woodland creatures. One of these entlings has broken off, and who's he heading for? Yep, they're chasing down a bunch of poor defenseless animals. Entlings, defenders of the forest, and apparently slayers of natural wildlife. Which, as long as they're attacking some of these wild animals and not us, I guess that's okay. But it looks like they're starting to make a break for us. Yep, here they come. So I think what I'm going to do, there's a couple more, is I'm going to go ahead and show off the military branch down. So, I'll pause it, because that means they're actually after some of our townsfolk now. So, whenever you have a footman, such as Grayla over here, they are automatically assigned to a combat party. In this case, it is the Red Banner Combat Party. And if you click on it, it'll select all the units in that particular combat party, and you can assign them one of 3 particular orders. We can edit the party here, but we only have one, and we don't really need to edit it that much. I think what we'll call it is Town Guard. Okay. So we have the Town Guard combat party. And we can assign them one of 3 orders. We can assign them the move to a location order, which will place a banner like this, which will put down a green arrow. That's this little green arrow right here. What that will do is that will make the footman, in this case Grayla, who is over here it looks like, guarding our farm. What she will do is she will move to that location without fighting anybody. If we click on the attack move, she will move in that direction and attack anything along the way. Which, because these are entlings, she will handle them relatively well. You'll notice that she's hardly taking any damage. And she's dealing a decent bit of damage out at these entlings. And finally, there is the defend location ability, which I'll explain in just a second while Grayla is fighting these bad guys. You'll notice that these entlings dropped a little bit of loot. They dropped some oak logs, which we can use to, like normal oak logs. There are still some entlings out there, so what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to send Grayla into the abyss here, where hopefully she will go off and fight the remaining entlings. Finally, there's the defend location, which if you click it and place a banner, the troops will rally there at wherever the banner that you place is. And they will just fight any bad guys that come close to that area. They'll also eat and sleep as per their needs, but they, instead of patrolling, they'll spend all their time there at the location that they need to be to defend. Because we don't really have a wall for our town, so we don't really have a gate that needs defending. We don't really need to worry about defending location. But let's say you had a lot of people coming over here by the farm, or a lot of people going by a mine or something like that. It would be useful to have that defend area order. So what we're going to go ahead and do is, since these berries have regrown, go ahead and pick them and get ourselves some more food. I can't remember if there was any other berry bushes. I don't think there were. I mean, I know there's the ones up here on the ridge, but we're not going to worry about those just yet. It looks like our farmer is toiling away. If we check our edibles, we're still holding at 50, which is good. So as long as we stay at 50, it means that our town should be good to go come the next update, which means that we'll actually have access to one more person. Looks like our folks are still working on some of these buildings, which is good. And they're also working on the road. The other thing I wanted to mention in the fighting tab is the shield icon here, which is town alert mode. Now if I were to click that, everybody gets little exclamation points above their heads. And what they'll all do is they'll run to this banner, or you can make a new banner, and what they'll do is they'll all rally towards those banners, and they'll drop everything that they're doing and run directly to those banners and then defend themselves should anybody come and attack them. But we don't need to worry about that right now, so we'll go ahead and abandon that and let everybody get back to their work. I think what we're going to have is a few people who are going to bed. Yep. So thankfully people have beds to sleep on now, which means that they should also be a little happier. So if we look at our shelter, we're at 5.1, which means we've gone up a little bit. Safety has also gone up a little bit. So we're not getting pillaged, and even food has gone up, so that's good. Our morale has increased. So these people will sleep for a little while, and then they'll wake up and go back about their day, which is good because we still need them working. Let's see here. We can check our journal, check and see what people have been complaining about. So for yesterday, day 3, they have been upset about eating berries already. So they're not too big of a fan of eating berries all the time. But that's fine. There's nothing too. Again, these are just some general tips for what you can do to improve your town. It doesn't mean that there's an immediate concern. They're not starving, obviously, so there's not too big of an issue there. It seems like everybody's happy to have beds and on the tranquility of the town. It also seems that they're happy to have some healthy food. One was even happy just to be eating food. On eating, dear diary, today I'm eating plate of berries, joy. So that's funny. So our road is being built here. We're going to eventually want to get rid of this stockpile. I think actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to not clear, but cancel the placement of these. I guess I can't. So we'll have to wait till they get placed. Because what I realized is when items get placed, I forgot that when they get placed on top of scaffolding like that, the scaffolding actually won't get cleared. So we don't want that to happen. We want the scaffolding to be cleared out so our town looks better. Daily updates. So we got enough food, we got enough morale, we got enough net worth. So finally, we can accept our first person to the town of New Cidingtton. It's Cece Grail. Let's check out Cece Grail. So Cece Grail has some average stats. She has decent mind, decent body, and decent spirit, which means that she will just be decent at just about any task we need. So should we need a filler for any job, looks like she'll be good to go for that, which is always good. Looks like some people are hauling and working on the house right here, the cottage for 2. I wonder if our carpenter is working on anything lately. No, it doesn't seem that he has, so let's go ahead and queue up a couple more crates, because we'll always need crates. And I think we already built a shield, so let's go ahead and queue up some of these furniture for selling. So we'll build 5 chairs, 5 tables, 5 arch chairs, 5 of these dining tables, 5 wooden dressers, 5 park benches, and 5 writing desks. We will not worry about the comfy bed or the comfy chair just quite yet. We can also queue up a couple of these signs, because we'll need those eventually for some aesthetics. We'll also, let's see, we don't have an inn, and we don't have a carpenter's building yet, so we won't worry about those two. We can always make some more fences. So we'll go ahead and queue up 20 more. And we'll also queue up a picket fence gate. So our trapper has leveled up, which is good. They now have access to the shepherd ability. So our trapper can now become a shepherd. And he also charms pets, which I'm not entirely sure what pets do other than just have animals that follow you around and eat your food. So I'm not really sure. Maybe eventually they'll like help defend the trapper or something like that, which would be cool. But for right now, I don't think they serve really any purpose. Looks like our farmer's already gathering some food, which is good. Actually, I think what we're going to do is I think we're going to take Cece, who just showed up, and I think we're going to make her into a farmer as well. So she'll run off and promote herself. That way we can get plenty of food. And what we can do is we can start selling some of that food. But she'll also be able to keep up with the farming situation, which she's running off to do now. Our townsfolk are starting to eat. So I think that about noon each day. So they only eat once a day. I think it's about noon, so you notice that we're about halfway done with the day here. They'll start to gather food. Yeah, so I think, do we want this to be the main road, or do we want the main road to be like, yeah, I'm thinking what we'll do is for the main road, this will be a side road for maybe the residential district into the market. But what I think is we'll have the main road come down maybe this way, lead right to the docks, and also part off and go right into the market here, which doesn't seem very practical for a city setup now that I'm thinking about it. Maybe we'll have the main road come right into the town from this way, and we'll wall it off from the water and around the farming. We'll have the farm inside the wall, and the main road will go up this way to the docks, and then we'll continue this way, and this might be where our castle's built. Yeah, I'm starting to see this town take some shape here. So yeah, this will be our market district. So we'll start putting some of our more advanced buildings, like what we could do is we can have our carpenter build us eventually some of these market stalls, which have merchants come to sell our items to. So once we start producing a lot of items, we'll be able to start selling stuff to them, which will always be good. So I think to facilitate that, one of the things that we'll actually do is we will always need more wood. So we'll go ahead and chop down these trees. So once these people are done building these buildings, it looks like they finished the roof of this other sleeping quarters over here. And it looks like they're starting to tear down some of the scaffolding. But once these, we'll let these folks catch up with their tasks. We'll actually boost the speed for the first time in this game. And actually, if you notice, we have some fine wooden chairs. So if I go to my carpenter, and we got a farmer level 1, which is good. They speed up when they're the next farmer. Oh man, we're just getting a lot of notifications. Alright, let's slow down for a second here. So rugged survivalist, stop by with her wares. She has some fur rugs to sell, so she doesn't have much that we need actually. But what we can do is we can actually go into our inventory here and sell our fine wooden chair. So we'll sell those. We will also sell our pelts. And I think we're good. I think we're good in every other aspect there. So basically, the stuff that you can sell is the stuff that you have in your inventory. So you'll notice that I can sell 7 stone, but if you actually look at the map, there's all this wood everywhere, but we don't have any wood stored in our crafting place right here. Which I don't remember making all these carpenter's workbenches. Maybe I queued them up and wasn't paying attention when I was crafting stuff. So we can actually sell those. We'll sell, well, all of them. Well, not all of them. We'll sell 5. Because we can always use another one should we eventually make another carpenter. But notice that we don't have any wood in this stockpile here, which means that we don't have wood that we can sell. But basically, in order to sell it, our townsfolk need to go collect it and put it into our inventory. So because no one's done that yet, we don't get the opportunity to sell it. So that's why it's not always good to have a whole bunch of houses queued up. But because we just hit our 8th person, we're going to want to expand our bedding. For anticipation of having a 9th and 10th person. So we would definitely want the buildings for that. And our townsfolk will continue to go about building the building and placing the window frames and so on and so forth. And our farmers will actually help out with the town tasks as necessary, assuming they don't have anything to do. Which, considering this farmer did have stuff to do, which was till some of this land, I am surprised that he was over there helping. But that's fine, he gets some food for us. Okay, so we can actually check on our townsfolk here. We have some people, we have our trapper harvesting some oak trees. 2 of our 3 laborers are working on building some towns. 1 is just resting by the fire, which I'm not entirely sure why, because there's plenty of stuff to do. And we'll probably have some fall asleep here soon. It looks like they're starting to work on the rooftop here, which is good. And for whatever reason, the blue rooftop is actually made of stone. So I guess it's considered like blue shingles, so you can't actually build it out of wood, because there's no such thing as blue wood, and we can't paint it. So we're going, well, I guess we could, but instead we're going to go with the stone roof. But for aesthetic reasons, I think blue looks pretty good. We'll start varying up some of the roofs so that we have a nice, varied looking town here. But I think once this building is done being built, we'll slow down on the buildings for a little while, because I think we got plenty of net worth right now coming from buildings. I think we'll start focusing on actually cleaning up some of the town and placing some of these objects. Speaking of placing objects, we'll go ahead and move this crate to right here, and we'll move this one to right here. Uh oh, we got some invaders coming. Looks like we got some entlings, and Grayla is already running out to fight them. So even though this seems like a lot of guys, and it definitely is, if we bring up her health or character sheet, we'll notice that these guys are actually only hitting her for 1 damage apiece. So she'll actually be able to handle them pretty okay. She might take a little bit of damage, but I think she'll be able to handle herself just fine. Especially considering that there were, what, 7 of them? She's already taken out 3. But it doesn't mean that we're probably not going to want a new soldier. And the way I like to divide it up is for every 4 regular townsfolk, I like to have another soldier. So right now we have 1, 2, 3, 4 regular townsfolk. We have 1 soldier. And we'll have 1, 2, 3. So after we get 2 new townsfolk, 2 new hearthlings, if you will, I will probably assign a new soldier. And actually our daily update popped. And we had enough for a new person. Let's see who it is. Oh, Grayla leveled up. She does some extra damage now. We have Lissy Mavel, who just arrived at the town. Let's see what her stats are. She's got 2 in mind, 4 in body, and 3 in spirit. So she's decent. She's not great in anything. She might make a decent footman. But she wouldn't make a great footman. But we don't need to worry about that for now. So we'll let her go ahead and join the town. She can join the laborers group. And hopefully we can get this house over here built in time for her to sleep, because we will need the beds. They're actually clearing out the scaffolding and ladders now. Our carpenter is still working diligently on the furniture of the town. I'm curious what Grayla is running off to do. She might be going to get food? Nope, she's going to haul. So yeah, so I did mention that soldiers will haul, and that's exactly what she's doing. So that'll be good. Our farmers are finally wrapping up the farm here, and they've got plenty of food lying around. But we'll have to get that into storage before they start to rot. And hopefully we'll move these... Yep, there we go. We'll start moving these crates. Which means we can get to the scaffolding over here. I think what we'll actually do is we will place a crate on top of that as well. So they cleared out the scaffolding right here, and they're going to use that to continue building this road. And if I click on the crate, you'll notice that it has the same menu as the stockpile over here. So you can set its filter, which we want everything to be stored in it, and you can actually check and see what its contents are. So we've got plenty of meat in there. We're going to want them to start storing some of our farming supplies in there as well. As soon as our townsfolk are finished building this road and finished building these buildings, they should probably start to haul some stuff in earnest, so we'll go ahead and speed up the speed here. So if you'll actually notice, our townsfolk right now, when they eat, they're just sitting around on the ground eating. And you know, that's fine. The people actually won't mind if they're eating on the ground. They don't complain about it, I don't think. But one of the things that you can actually do is you can actually go into the building menu here, and I won't do it right now because it's not important. But you can actually set up a dining hall. What the dining hall has, it has a dining table and chairs. And what the townsfolk will actually do is they'll actually prioritize sitting in chairs and near tables over eating in a normal place on the ground. So they'll actually get their food and run off to a place where the chairs and tables are, and they'll go and eat there. So it actually is a nice thing. They'll pick up their food and they'll go off to a place where, you know, it seems practical to eat food. Another thing that's actually pretty cool is you'll notice as we start to develop the town a bit more that the townsfolk, while moving, will actually prioritize moving along a road over moving along a normal terrain. So you'll actually notice that this guy is going to run out in almost a straight line along the road and then head off to the direction that he needs to in the wilderness, just like someone probably would in a normal life. I think it would be cool, I don't think they've added it yet, but I think it would be cool if they added the fact that roads actually made townsfolk move quicker. I think that would be a good for both aesthetics and for practicality, because I do think people move quickly along roads than they do in grass. So having that set up, I think, would be a cool little addition to the game. We've had someone who shows up with some stuff to sell, and we're actually going to sell some stuff to him. We're going to sell this fine fine chair, this fine table, these fine park benches, and let's see. Do we have fun? We have a fine dresser. We do have some fine dining tables. Okay. So that brings us cleared out here as far as our fine items go. We can even sell our normal furniture too if we needed to. Does he have anything that we really need to buy? I don't think so. No, we're not going to buy anything from him. There are some merchants that have some useful stuff to buy, but for right now, I don't think we really need to buy anything from him. So we've got some crates here that we're starting to store some stuff in. They're actually getting a lot of storage already. And so our townsfolk are starting to haul as they're running out of stuff to do. I'm actually surprised that they haven't finished tearing down all the scaffolding for this building yet. It's actually telling me this building is complete, which is I could say with certainty is not the case. This still needs some beds and window frames, which I'm actually curious if we have. And we have a couple beds. There's a window frame. So we're just waiting on some of our townsfolk to actually do that. Like you, Tayden, you're just sitting by the fire, not doing anything. Now you're going to sleep. There's plenty of stuff for you to do, Tayden. Even though you don't think so. We got our new daily update. It looks like we got our new person. So Ella, we're getting a lot of women. Men of this town will be happy. She's got some pretty high spirit and high mind, so she might make a good herbalist. But as I said, when we hit town level, or town of 10, I think it's time for us to assign a new footman. So let's check our folks here. So as I said before, Grayla's sister, June, over here, has a pretty high body, but her spirit is really low. The next highest body are Fry and Lissy, who actually both have the same stats. So I think we're going to go ahead and make Fry our new footman to help defend our town. We'll go ahead and approve that. And I think Tayden will make an excellent herbalist. So we'll go ahead and approve that as well. And I think that's a good place to stop it. I want to thank you all for watching, and stay tuned for part 3.